sight, our fears are done. All the good times just begun. Oh, we know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright.
Hey everyone, welcome to another Sophisticated Saturday. And this Sophisticated Saturday is going to be a little bit different. It's a slower paced one. I love doing these. It's a late night Sophisticated Saturday, and I'm actually cheating a little bit and filming on a Thursday night because I had my parents and my brother and sister-in-law and their 3.5-month-old twin boys coming to Nebraska to visit us for my 30th birthday. They were coming in really late Thursday night and then going to stay with us over the weekend. So I wanted to get the house picked up a little bit before they came, as well as surprise them in the morning when they wake up after a long road trip with some fresh homemade cinnamon rolls. So the first thing that I wanted to do was clean up after dinner. Jim and I just finished up dinner, and even though I'm going to start cooking a little bit and making these cinnamon rolls and prepping them, I wanted to pick up from dinner first, and then I was going to bake, and then of course have to wipe down the kitchen one more time. But I wanted to get the surfaces a little bit clean and at least the dishes from dinner put away first. Let me know what you think of these slower paced, sophisticated Saturdays or these slower paced videos in general. I just loved taking you guys around with me late at night for this little cleaning and cooking and all of that. It just felt really casual to me, and I love kind of the slower paced videos with the slow music. Sometimes I do really like the fast paced music and the quick motivation and all of that, but sometimes I just like to slow things down. So I try and do a variety of both types of videos. So now with the kitchen all cleaned up, I am going to grab my ingredients and get them ready. And like usual, at least like I've been doing recently, I'm going to double this recipe, but I'm just going to give you the regular recipe for just one batch of cinnamon rolls. So if you want to double it like I am, feel free to do that. But I am adding in 1/2 cup of white sugar while I get my milk heated up. You're going to need 1 cup of warm milk. So I have that in the microwave there and getting it nice and warm. And while that warms up, I am going to measure out my salt. You'll need 1 teaspoon of salt and 2 eggs at room temperature. Once your milk is done, you can toss that in your mixer as well. And you're going to need melted butter. So I'm going to add in 1/3 cup of butter into the same container and pop that into the microwave.
So I trust you when you say that beauty lives in me too.
In goes the butter, followed by your flour, and it's best to use bread flour for this recipe, and you're going to add 4.5 cups. So this recipe I will leave on the screen like I usually do, but I will also try and put the link to the recipe in the description box if I can find it. It is a clone of a Cinnabon cinnamon roll. So if you like Cinnabon cinnamon rolls, you will love this one. My dad is a huge fan. I feel like I remember growing up, we would always stop at the airport, especially when we were traveling to places where we had a long flight. He would love having Cinnabon cinnamon rolls, and it just kind of makes me think of like childhood and traveling with my family. So with him coming in town, I knew he would love them, and he said that they rival the real thing. So if you like Cinnabon cinnamon rolls, then you will love these. The last thing I just added in there was a package of dry instant yeast, or if you're measuring it out, it's 2.25 teaspoons as well. So I'm going to set the mixer and get that started. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes, and it's going to form a nice neat ball that pulls away from the side of the mixer. So don't be afraid to let it run for the full 10 minutes if you need it to get it fully formed into that ball before covering it with some saran wrap, adding it to the oven that should be preheated at 200 degrees and let it sit in that oven with the door open for 10 minutes. During those 10 minutes, I'm going to do a little bit of picking up and wiping down the countertops. I'm not going to use these ones back here. And also running upstairs and tossing in a load of laundry before heading back downstairs quickly, closing that oven door because it's going to need to sit in the oven closed for an hour and 10 minutes. And I should mention, the oven should have preheated to 200 degrees, but you turn it off before you put your bowl in there. So it's just going to be kind of like a warm oven for that dough to rise and hopefully double in size. So with an hour and 10 minutes, I'm going to head upstairs and fold some laundry. I brought all of my laundry back into our bedroom, set up my iPad so I could watch a show, sit down and relax and fold. And I did ask you guys before we moved, so when I was still in my apartment, was thinking about laundry and how things would work in the new house, I asked you guys where you like to fold your laundry, if you do have a dedicated laundry space, if that's where you fold your laundry. A lot of you said you still bring it to your bedroom. Some said you fold it in your laundry room. Some do it in your living room and sit on the couch. Since it's still just Jim and I, and we don't have a baby yet, it's only our clothing, it still has been working for us to bring it into our bedroom and just fold it here, especially with being pregnant and wanting to sit down as much as possible and turn any chore into less of a chore. I'm all about sitting down, watching one of my favorite shows, and getting that laundry folded. So that's still what's working for us at this point.
I'm moving closer to you now. I can't get close enough somehow. And I was down until you saved me, until you set me free. My eyes were closed, now I see clear as day. And I just wanted to say that you can take me high. Feels like I can fly. I don't need anybody, I don't need anybody else. No one will ever take me, no one will ever take me away from you. I promise I will hold on to you. I don't know what I'd do without you.
With all of that laundry put away, heading back downstairs again, picking up a few more things in the kitchen quickly there, and then going to move to my office because I also have some stuff to clean up. It's just a little bit chaotic in there. I haven't taken the time to fully organize it. I'm trying to share every space with you guys as I go through our new house. So any space that I've shared a brand new YouTube video about, that space actually feels done and good to me. So our pantry I shared, that feels like a space that is done and I'm happy with. Our kitchen I shared, everything feels nice and organized there. Our master bathroom, our laundry room, utility closet. So if you're hearing any of those spaces and are looking for some inspiration in any of those areas of your home, I've already filmed some organization videos about those spaces, but I hope to share more on my office and the basement, of course, the nursery sometime soon here, still holding out on furniture, but I am going just space by space, really taking my time. The house feels like it's getting to a point that it's livable, but certain spaces like my office still don't feel perfectly organized and done at this point. So when something isn't perfectly organized and I don't have systems in place that are really working for me yet, that's when things get a little chaotic and out of hand.
I don't storm in the storm. If not me, then someone like me that knows what to do and how to take care of you. But most of all, that deserves you.
And if you watched my previous video, I did explain that half of this office is for my day job as an attorney, and I'm spending a lot of time at the side that I'm sitting at right now during the day, Monday through Friday at least. And then the other side is my sophisticated organization side of the desk. And yes, I know I'm very spoiled to have such a huge office to myself and have an office that's clearly built for 2 people, just for me. But it's been making it so much easier to be able to separate the 2 different sides of what I do and have a spot that's dedicated to sophisticated organization, especially since I, offer products on my website and make labels. So I have some stuff over there that if you saw, there's some packages on the floor. I was shipping out some products and all of that. It just makes it a lot easier.
That deserves you. That he deserves most of all that deserves you.
Finally, it's time to take the dough out of the oven. So you're going to take it out of the oven, and don't freak out yet, but we need to let it rest for 10 more minutes. So you had your 10 minutes with the door open, an hour and 10 with it closed, and now it's going to need to sit on the countertop for 10 more minutes covered with a towel. So first you just lightly flour your surface. I'm going to try and get every last little bit of dough out of there and then cover it with my towel.
And a pretty calm. I don't storm in the storm, no. Not me, then someone like me that knows what to do.
While it sits for 10 minutes, that's perfect timing to make the filling that goes inside of the cinnamon rolls. You'll need 1 cup of brown sugar and 2.5 tablespoons of cinnamon. And the thing I really like about this recipe is I think it has a lot of that brown sugar and cinnamon mixture, which, as we all know, the best part of the cinnamon roll is the middle, right? It has the most sugar and cinnamon and has all that flavor. So when you have a lot of the cinnamon sugar filling, then it helps make the rest of the cinnamon roll taste like that middle. So I liked how much of the filling that this recipe made. To get that cinnamon sugar to stick to the dough, you're going to need to melt some butter. So I'm melting the butter and splitting my dough in half because, again, I doubled this recipe and I just want to make 1 set of cinnamon rolls at a time. So I'm starting with 1 piece of dough and rolling it out to a 12 by 20 inch rectangle. So you'll see I brought a tool to measure. I have my rolling pin. I have all the tools I need, and gonna try and roll that into the rectangle and then brush it with butter and sprinkle on my cinnamon sugar until it reaches about the outsides of that 12 by 20 inch rectangle. You can leave about a 1 inch border along the edge, and then you'll brush that border with a little bit of water to help it seal as you roll it up.
'Cause I know I need a start to let you know when it's over. I will see what I've done. Let it go too soon. Oh, I'll be stronger if you just step right in. 'Cause I need a start to let you in.
So you'll see I definitely did not make a perfect rectangle by any means, but you know what? It's close enough. And I'm just going to add a little bit of water, like I said, to help that seal and roll it the long way, not the short way, roll it the long way and get it as nice and tight as I can possibly get it. And then I'm going to grab my dental floss. You can also use a serrated knife to cut your cinnamon rolls, and that works just fine as well. But dental floss is a fun trick. I would recommend you have a floss that's not a mint flavor, but I've even used mint dental floss flavors and have never noticed an issue with getting any mint flavor on any of my doughs. So I don't know how much it matters, but if you have one that is a plain floss without a flavor, use that for sure. But if it's mint, I wouldn't worry about it too much. So I'm just going to slice that into 12 1.5-inch thick rolls.
'Cause I need a start to let you in.
The rolls can then go on some parchment paper, onto a baking sheet, or in a shallow baking dish. And again, you're going to cover them one more time and let them rise for 45 minutes. Or you can do what I'm doing and store them in the refrigerator for up to a day. And then you just need to let them sit for about 30 minutes before you bake them. So since I wanted to surprise my family with some fresh made cinnamon rolls, I opted to just put them in the refrigerator and pull them out in the morning before everyone got up.
Wanna drown into your eyes and feel your blue sky within, so deep in.
So just to kind of follow up on the baking instructions, because I'm not going to bake them all right now, I did decide, you'll see, to bake a couple of the end pieces. You'll see Jim is eating a few of them, even raw right now. But I did bake up some of those end pieces again. So you are going to bake them at 375 degrees for about 15 to 20 minutes. They'll start to look nice and golden brown, and you should be able to smell the smell of cinnamon rolls wafting throughout your house. It is the best smell ever. So I'm going to do the same thing I did with the first set of cinnamon rolls and roll it out to that 12 by 20, brush it with some butter, finish it off with all of that yummy cinnamon sugar, brush it with some water around the edges since I left about a 1-inch border around the edge, and roll it up nice and tight, get out my dental floss, and get those pieces sliced up again.
I know all about your troubles. Wanna drown into your eyes and feel your blue sky within. So deep in you, I'm blinded by your bittersweet shine. Get what you need, I'll make you feel free, be mine tonight.
So I had 2 full containers that I was able to put in the refrigerator for my family. And then that smaller one is what I decided to put in the oven for myself tonight, because how could I make cinnamon rolls and not bake some for myself tonight? I, of course, had to taste test them and make sure they were okay before I fed them to other people, right? Isn't that what you have to do when you bake a dessert? Now it's time for the real cleaning. So I have most of everything done. I am still going to make the cream cheese frosting, but I wanted to clean everything off, clean the kitchen, and get it put away so I could kind of call this room done. So I'm going to put away the ingredients and then continue to wipe down the surfaces.
So deep in you, I'm blinded by your bittersweet shine. I get what you need, I'll make you feel free, be mine tonight, and feel my blue sky within. I get what you need, I'll make you feel free, be mine tonight, and feel my blue sky within. Feel my blue sky within.
While I was in the kitchen still cleaning up, I heard that the washer was done, so I'm going to switch things over to the washing machine, get that going before running downstairs and continuing with the kitchen.
Really good time for a monologue. Can't let this pass. I find it hard to breathe. The time is up. The bell has rang, and it's really hard to understand that losing you now is the only choice for me. But someday our roads will cross before, and someday our ocean will find its
The dishwasher was actually done from earlier in the day. I had dishes in there, and then all of the dishes from dinner are now clean, so I can take those out, put them away, and then start to fill up the dishwasher even more with dishes from making the cinnamon rolls. I will say I'm not in love with our dishwasher. For some reason, it feels so much smaller than our apartment dishwasher, which is weird to say because you would think an apartment dishwasher would potentially be smaller than a home dishwasher, but this one does feel really tight. And I can just tell because certain things that I used to put in our apartment dishwasher don't fit in this one, or just the amount of stuff in general I used to put in our apartment one, no way would ever fit in this one. So I think I was spoiled in our apartment and didn't really realize how spoiled I was. But that's okay. Sometimes that just means running the dishwasher a few more times than we would have in the past, but it still works great, so it's totally fine.
Someday, our ocean will find its shore. If you've never been this tired, then you've never been this in love. When you feel there is time for us, then I'll be by the same old road. If you've never been this tired, then you've never been this in love. When you feel there is time for us, then I'll be by the same old road. If you've never been this tired, then you've never been this in love.
Now I'm also going to prep the frosting in advance. I don't want to have to do anything major in the morning. I just want to have to pop them in the oven. So to make the cream cheese frosting, you're going to add in 4 ounces of cream cheese, 2 tablespoons of butter, 1.5 cups of powdered sugar, half a teaspoon of vanilla, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. Blend it all up and you'll have the perfect cream cheese frosting. Jim, who even doesn't like cream cheese frosting on his cinnamon rolls, he likes just the more basic powdered sugar and like milk type of glaze as opposed to a cream cheese frosting. He really liked it. I asked if he wanted me to make a separate frosting for him or just not frost his with the cream cheese, and actually in the morning forgot about it and put cream cheese frosting on all of them, but he said he really liked it. So even if you're not a fan of cream cheese frosting, maybe you'd like this one too.
Even if the sky is falling down.
Here we have all of the odd-shaped cinnamon rolls. They're not as pretty as the rest of them, but hey, they taste just as good. So I'm going to put a little bit of frosting on one of them and give myself a late night treat for all of this hard work of cleaning and baking because I feel like I deserve it.
I really wanna know if I will ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs.
Okay, so after my little treat, time to put away the frosting. I just stuck it in some Pyrex food storage containers, and then I'm going to finish cleaning up the kitchen. I feel like I've said that numerous times that I'm cleaning the kitchen, but when you love to cook and bake like I do, it is kind of an endless cycle of dishes. And I do feel like dishes bother me a lot more, or I feel like it's a lot more time consuming than doing laundry. But those are the 2 chores that just seem like they're constantly never ending. And I'm saying this before we even have our baby. I'm sure when we have a baby, the laundry is going to just pile up. It's got to like double from what I understand with how often babies are just constantly changing outfits, and you have burp cloths and blankets and sheet changes and all of that type of stuff. So I'm sure there's going to be plenty more laundry happening over here as well. The final step is giving the sink a nice good scrub and rinsing it out. I really don't take the time to do that until the kitchen is fully done. I do a lot of things like wiping down surfaces and cleaning out the sink of the dishes, but the actual scrub down I like to do as the very last thing once everything's fully cleaned up. Since I was able to also clean up my office a little bit earlier, I'm going to wipe down the desk and the surfaces while they're clean and take advantage of that clean surface. My parents have been to our house before. They were here when we first moved in and helped us a ton. My brother and sister-in-law have not seen the house before, so I really, first of all, want to make it clean for my parents and show them how much we've moved in and how much progress we've made since they were here a month or so ago. And then my brother and sister-in-law, I of course want to show them the house in a clean state. So I'm going to try and do my best here to finish up all these tasks before they show up. So with that, I'm going to try and fold one more load of laundry. My parents actually called and said that they were just getting into Nebraska, and so I didn't have much time left. So the last thing I was able to do was fold this load of laundry. Thanks for joining me with this late night sophisticated Saturday. If you enjoyed today's video, I would appreciate if you gave it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. And until next time, I will see you guys later.